What's up, y'all? Mr. T here, and welcome to what we're calling T's Takes. Today, we're talking about the Alabama-LSU game from this past Saturday. We'll be breaking it down and basically talking about what should have happened, what happened, why it happened. You know, honestly, whether Alabama should be as credited and highly ranked as they are right now. Without further ado, here we go. Good team. Kentucky beat them 42-21. Auburn beat them by somewhere around 10 points. UCLA. Okay, y'all. So, first of all, let's break this down. Alabama won 20-14 against an LSU team that is 4-4 and is honestly really just not the LSU teams of the past. They're honestly probably one of the worst LSU teams I've seen in recent time. They have great players, don't get me wrong. Max Johnson, Butte, T. Davis Price, all really good players. But in general, it's not a good team. Now, it might not be the players or any of their faults, but maybe the coaching. I don't really know. But I do know that this is not the teams of the past, and they're just not a good team. Kentucky beat them 42-21. Auburn beat them by somewhere around 10 points. UCLA beat them, and we've kind of figured out that UCLA is not as good as everybody thought they were. So they're just not a great LSU team. Alabama, on the other hand, they do have one loss this season to Texas A&M, but they came off and they killed Ole Miss. They beat Mississippi State handily, and they really beat some good SEC teams or decent SEC teams and proved that, you know, they might actually be a pretty good team. And the week before last week, they ended up being put at number 2 in the top 25. And so while some people disagreed with that, and I had a few issues with it, it makes sense. And so we're coming into this LSU game and we're like, wow, Alabama's just going to absolutely blow them out. Maybe 50-20, you know, Bryce Young, Brian Robinson, Jalen Williams, all of them just, combine them and they're just going to blow LSU out of the water. Like, it's not even going to be close. And we look at the end score and it's 20-14. We watch the game. Let's go over some of the stats. Let's see. Bryce Young was 24 for 37 for 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he lived up to expectations, obviously. Robinson, here is where Alabama suffered. Robinson had 13 carries for 18 yards. 18 yards. Overall, because of negative yards, they had a total of 6 rushing yards that entire game. They averaged 0.2 yards a carry, and they had, 26 carries. 26 carries, and they averaged 0.2 yards a carry. 26 carries, and they got a total of 6 rushing yards. 6 rushing yards. Now, this is the number 2 team in the country putting up 6 rushing yards against a team that isn't even in the top 25 and honestly has not even looked that good this year. Like, not only are they not in the top 25, they haven't even looked that good. There have been games where they look decent, but overall, this team has just not looked good. And Alabama only put up 6 rushing yards on this team. I mean, credit to people like Bryce Young for throwing for 302 yards. That's great, that's cool, but you're not going to win a game like that. Even with that number of throwing yards, you're just not going to win a game if you only run for 6 total yards, y'all. I mean, really, this is just credit to Alabama's defense for even winning this game. But I just got to say, with those stats in general, I mean, Jalen Williams had 10 receptions for 160 yards. If you look at the passing yards and reception yards, you would think Alabama would have won this game. Like, hands down, you would think Alabama would have won this game. But here's the deal. If you only run 6 yards, you're not going to win a football game. I think I was watching the press conference after the game, and Nick Saban was like, yeah, we play in a tough conference and all that. You're right, you do play in a tough conference, which is why you can't rush for only 6 yards, especially against LSU. If you're the number 2 team in the country, you should have a good enough offensive line to rush for more than 6 yards. I mean, honestly, I could stop right here and just be done. And I don't even hate Alabama. I'm an Auburn fan, but I do not hate Alabama. Like, I root for Alabama in a lot of games. And this is just not the Alabama team I'm used to. I mean, typically, their offensive lines are just amazing. Like, the Alabama teams I'm used to, they just ran all over people. Recently, they've graduated to more of a passing game, but still, even then, with Najee Harris, when they had Derrick Henry, all of that, I mean, they just dominated people in the running game. This year, y'all, 6 rushing yards. Never have I seen that on an Alabama team, especially not a number 2 ranked Alabama team. 6 rushing yards. That's rare in any football game. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, that should never happen. I watched some of the game. LSU honestly should have won that game, in my opinion. Credit to Alabama's defense for stopping them and, stopping them when it mattered most. LSU drove down, and I think it was in the 4th quarter. Here's the other thing I got to say. Alabama only scored 6 points in the entire second half. 6 points. And the only reason it was 6 is because their kicker missed an extra point. Did you hear that? The kicker missed an extra point. That means all LSU had to do was score 1 touchdown, hit an extra point, and game over. Game over, right there. That's all they had to do. This is embarrassing. The number 2 team in the country cannot beat an unranked team just because they can't hit an extra point. Credit to the defense once again for beating this team. This had nothing to do with the offense. And I'm excusing Bryce Young and the receivers because they played phenomenal in a lot of ways. But their offensive line was horrible. Honestly, the offensive line is to blame for this entire game. If you cannot block for the running back or your quarterback, you will lose or will almost lose. And I honestly haven't even thought Alabama's defense was that good this year for what I'm used to. But that game, they played amazing. Amazing. Hands down, great. Like, that was one of the better defenses, like defensive games I've seen Alabama play this year, if not the best. Nick Saban got that totally right in his interview. That is, hands down, great defense that was played during that game by Alabama. And LSU, to be honest. LSU's defense tore up Alabama's offense. Here's some other statistics. Alabama was, let's see, where is it? 4 for 13 on third downs. 4 for 13 on third downs. And, oh man, these statistics are almost embarrassing. 4 for 13 on third downs, y'all. 4 for 13. That is about 30%. I mean, it's hard to beat anybody if you were 30% on third downs. I don't even know what to say. Statistics right here. I don't even know what to say. Honestly, all the statistics show that LSU should have won. But in reality, Alabama was a good enough team. I've heard people say this, and I agree with them on this. The difference between teams like Alabama and Georgia and, Clemson in recent years, not this year, is that they always find a way to win, even when they don't play good. And that's so true for Alabama here. They should have lost, but they found a way to win. And I guess this is how I'm going to end it. Alabama found a way to win even when they weren't playing good. They were playing a rival team. They were playing horrible. The other thing is it was at Tuscaloosa. This was a home game, which makes it even more embarrassing. Not that I can say anything because Auburn almost lost to Georgia State. So, we have no excuse. But then at the same time, we're not ranked number 2. But, I just want to close it with this, basically. Alabama should have won the game, lost the game. But they found a way to win. Now, that is actually the reason I'm going to go ahead and say they probably should still be in the top 4. Especially since Michigan lost and Cincinnati didn't play too great. And, Ohio State honestly didn't play good either. Oregon didn't play great. All those teams did not play good. So, honestly, and Oklahoma didn't play. So, we don't really know. But that's why I believe Alabama should still be in the top 4 because they always are going to find a way to win, especially against teams like LSU. But I just got to say that was not a good game. Alabama should have lost, but they didn't. They were very inconsistent. They've been inconsistent all year. And, I just don't think there's much else to say. So I'm glad they won, glad they pulled through, but that's kind of my take on the game. They should have won, they should have lost, but credit to their defense for winning. Some other headlines: Tennessee won by 3 over Kentucky. Michigan State got manhandled by Purdue. and Auburn got waxed by Texas A&M in the fourth quarter. I want to talk about that for a second. Honestly, it wasn't the worst Auburn performance I've seen defensively. In fact, it was one of the best defensive performances I've seen by Auburn, holding Texas A&M's offense to 12 points. I mean, at some point when we're punting the ball every time, to hold an offense to 12 points when they have the ball most of the game, that is pretty good. I would go into more detail. Maybe I'll do a take on that later. I think that's all the headlines, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you're new to this channel, just go below. Like this video if you want. If not, you can dislike it. I do not care, honestly. I mean, I'm not here for approval. But definitely hit the subscribe button if you want to keep hearing my takes on games every week and news and stories and everything like that. We're getting into March and we're getting into basketball, so we'll be talking about that probably soon. And I do some shorts and stuff like that if you want to check those out. Honestly, I don't have much else to say. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending time watching this video. And yeah, I'd love to see you hang out and watch some more of my videos. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by this month, 1K. If not 100, you know, like 100 would be great. You know, I'm really trying to grow this, find a way to grow this. You know, just don't worry about it. If you like this content, please subscribe. If not, it's totally fine, but just make sure you keep watching my videos because I honestly don't care if you subscribe, but I do want people to watch this. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I know that was a little annoying at the end there, but thanks so much for watching. And y'all have a... I don't know. Thanks so much for watching. And this video is sponsored by Coca-Cola. No, I'm just kidding. It's not sponsored by anybody. Yeah, I'm not that popular yet. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a good day. That's good. Put it down. Okay. Oh. I don't know how people chug these down. Wow. Dang. Wow. Oh, shit. Really? Okay. I'm dizzy. Oh my gosh.